Hi, I'm here to talk about Batman Hush, the animated uh, film. I am a fan of the Batman Hush comic storyline. I think it's pretty interesting. I think it has some of the best comic artwork of the time. Some of my favorite looking comic book art for Batman. And when it comes to the Batman Hush film, what's interesting is I think it's in the same continuity as the trilogy of films about Batman Damien, but it does feel like it's not like a. It doesn't feel like it's a fourth film in that because I think Damien's just in one scene, so it's weird. It's like I guess kind of feels like a spin off. It's kind of weird it being in the same continuity if it is. And Batman Hush, the animated film, it is quite different from the comic storyline. And when it comes to having big differences from the comics, um, I tend to be okay with it if the changes are really interesting, good changes. Because if the changes are just less interesting, I think it's a problem not necessarily just it not being like the comic, but taking something creative and then just taking the creativity out of things. I think if there's still creativity in it, in the changes, then I think it's not too big of a problem as long as the creativity is really good. And I like the changes in Batman Hush. I think that the big twist about who Hush really is in the animated film, I think it really works. I think it helps streamline things, and I I think I prefer that twist over the comic twist. And that's just my personal opinion. And if you prefer the comics twist, I think that's perfectly fair. I just want to express how I personally feel. Um, I think that Batman Catwoman have a lot of chemistry in the film. A lot of the film is focused on them. And I think that Batman Catwoman's relationship works in the film because it really feels like they've spent a lot of time together. It doesn't feel like a rushed romance, which I think is a problem for some Batman films. Feels like Batman Catwoman really have a long lasting dynamic, and I do like seeing a more altruistic Catwoman who is not as altruistic as Batman, but is becoming more heroic and being somebody that Batman starts to feel like he can trust. And I like the idea of Batman thinking about can he trust Catwoman enough to let her know who he really is. I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff explored with that. And it's fun having a lot of classic, great Batman villains in supporting roles. They're very fun, like they are in the comic storyline. And there's a really cool little subplot thing involving another DC superhero, and there's a lot of fun stuff there that I love, just like in the comic. Um, Poison Ivy is fantastic in the Batman Hush comic storyline, and that is definitely the case in the animated film too. She's a standout character. Of course, Joker, as usual, standout character too. Riddler's great in the film. There's a lot of fun stuff, and I think that Batman Hush works really well, and it's cool to have like Scarecrow show up for a while, and uh, Bane is decent in the film. I do think that it is an example where it feels like he's there to be the muscular guy. He is still fun in the film though. And I think that Batman Hush works as a fun film. I think the animation is good, and I think the animation definitely works when not comparing it to the Batman Hush comics directly because the Batman Hush comic storyline is one of the best drawn looking comic storylines that I've seen, in my personal opinion. I feel like it's very, very hard to recreate something so beautiful. But I do think that Batman Hush is a very solid looking film, and it's a very enjoyable film. So I do think it's a solid adaptation and a fun film.